Fuentes reiterating that he's fully open to teaming up with the left to oppose Israel. What does he mean by that? What do you mean by that? The left already principally oppose Israel for the simple fact that they are abusing the Palestinian minority that currently lives within that fucking ethno-state. I've said this before, but people like Nick Fuentes, the only reason why he is anti-Zionist is not out of a principled moral stance for the Palestinians wanting to basically let them have emancipation. No, he could give less of a flying fuck about any of that stuff. For him, it's about hating on fucking Jews, which is, generally speaking, why you should not work with people like Nick Fuentes if you are at all credible whatsoever in terms of the left. Everything that he essentially says in terms of his sort of like populist rhetoric and shtick is a canard. It's nonsense. It should not be fucking believed. He is someone who can, ostensibly speaking, just not be trusted. You should not trust individuals like Nick Fuentes, but he's still going to do his whole sort of shtick about like, well, look at me. I am a populist conservative. I want to essentially separate myself from the Republican Party because he thinks that they're just cucked to fucking Israel and that there's no point in trying to redeem them. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The only thing that Nick Fuentes basically is he is essentially trying to make himself a bit more of a foil against the Republican Party because, again, he feels that the Republican Party is essentially completely cucked to Israel and that there is no fundamental redemption to that fucking party. I mean, he is correct in that assessment, but he's making that assessment based off of the fact that he is incredibly fucking anti-Semitic. So if you're on the left, you don't work with someone like this. As soon as Nick Fuentes were to get power, he'd immediately stab you in the fucking back. But then again, the only people that this is going to be like convincing to are either Marxist-Leninists or those like MAGA communist types. So other conservatives like him. What does he have to say about this?
This is why I said the other night, why don't we have populist Republicans and populist Democrats that just solve problems? Just solve problems for Americans.
Because
you're not trustworthy. And by the way, I am willing to compromise with the left, 100%. I'll work with anybody. I saw the track AIPAC people. It's some progressive woman and some progressive gay guy. I'd work with them on shutting down AIPAC in a second, in a heartbeat.
Well, no, it's because, again, like I said, the reason why progressives have issues with Israel is because of it, well, receiving massive amounts of American taxpayer dollars to essentially maintain a settler colonial project within the Middle East with the express purpose of just, well, ethnically cleansing the Palestinians out of the fucking land and also causing tensions with all their fucking neighbors consistently. So, I mean, I'll say this again, but you're not trustworthy. Because you're a fucking Nazi, dude. Like, I mean, you're literally the same dude who did the fucking 6 million fucking cookies meme or some shit. Like, nothing that you say is going to be trustworthy on this. He's trying, like, okay. He's, like, trying to do, like, the same thing that Richard Spencer is doing, right? And I've said this before, I'll say it again. He's trying to make his position and his movement look more palatable in the mind of the mainstream, so then he has an easier, more effective time of trying to take over the Republican Party for himself. Because, again, like I said before, as soon as the Nazis fucking took power with the fucking Strasserites, what happened? They got immediately fucking cut out, and they were all fucking killed as well during Kristallnacht. So, all of those, like, political opponents who were not as pure with him in terms of, like, ethnic supremacy, they all got fucking killed, or didn't align with him necessarily politically, or would have been a potential problem for him in the future if allowed to live. That I'm speaking about Hitler here, of course. But yeah, like, who's to say that you wouldn't do the exact same shit if you were also given positions of prominence and power? You are not a trustworthy individual. you have lied about a lot of your positions consistently, and the only reason why you're adopting the positions that you are adopting right now is because you see that the Republican Party is weak, the MAGA movement is weak, it is vulnerable, and you see an opportunity right now to take it over from within and essentially be the main dude in charge. No one, and I mean nobody, should trust a single word that comes out of this motherfucker's mouth.
Same goes for Anna Kaspari and Cenk Uygur. They were...
Anna Kasparian, by the way, has mostly been doing like fucking happy merchant memes, like unironically, while talking about fucking Israel. Like, she's also not trustworthy either.
In favor of democratic populism, they want to deliver healthcare, they want to deliver education. I would work with them in a second. In a second. A Zohran Mamdani all day. That's why I said we need to rethink and realign our politics based on what actually matters and what matters to us. We have to drop the wokeness, arguably on both sides. We have to drop the wokeness on the left, which is anti...
What fucking wokeness is there on the right? Like, what does that even fucking mean, huh? What? Like, does he mean, like, white supremacy or something? Like, Puritan identitarian politics? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's, like, literally the only politics that the right, generally speaking, has. Like, this is fucking nonsensical. Like, guys, we need to be a little less white supremacist. Like, that's so fucking stupid, man.
Anti-white and obsessed with immigration, basically throwing the borders open. They have to get rid of the tone policing and language policing.
I don't know how many times this needs to be said. The people who are obsessed with immigration is you specifically, and the current administration is in power. If the right basically does not have immigration, what else are they going to run on? Nothing, because they don't have any policy. Because for them, it's about wanting to give as many tax cuts for the rich as possible. Like that's literally about it.
And on the right, we can work together with the left. Maybe we have to let go of some of the cruelty and abuse directed at some of the marginalized communities on their side. It's true. There are marginal people. What else would you call a racial minority other than a marginal person? I'm okay with living in a society where we, as long as we close the borders, we can take care of everybody in the country. We can figure out how we can all get along together. As long as there is a consensus agreement that we can put America first. But what I see from...
I still don't understand. Like, America does not have an open border policy. This is just nonsensical. That's farcical. Like, what are you talking about? Like, even Joe Biden implemented a lot of the shit with, like, Title fucking 42 that Donald Trump had in place. The only difference is that he let in a bunch of migrants via fucking TPS. And again, let's just fucking pull up the fucking statistics on this again. Here, TPS. Shit. All the people that he let in via fucking TPS. Now you may be asking this question. Well, Daho, why are there a lot of fucking Venezuelan migrants that were let in during 2021 and 2023? Couldn't be because of this. Oh. The fucking coup attempt that happened in 2019. I don't know how many times I have to keep saying this over and over and over again, but this is why. About 60% of the people that were given temporary protected status was a result of this fucking coup, right? This was a US-led coup under Donald Trump, where he tried to send in Juan Guaido with a couple of other dudes in a trench coat, and he got spotted out by some fucking Venezuelan fishermen. It was a complete botched failure. And it was, like, honestly, like, really fucking pathetic as well, the failure of that fucking coup attempt. And it's just, like, this is why. He decided to then, after that failing of that coup attempt, slap harsh sanctions on the Venezuelan economy, causing it to go into hyperinflation, and as a result of the Venezuelan economy collapsing, a bunch of people decided to emigrate from the country. Oh, man. What a fucking shocker. Whoa, Trump's dumbass fucking policies resulted in a migrant wave because he's not capable of assessing any of the consequences of his actions. Like, open borders policies in the United States of America. It's nonsense. It's stupid.
from the Trump administration and from the Democrats is neither of them are willing or able to actually do anything for people, for the actual people. And this is the evidence.
Corporate control.
Chuck Schumer opens the government with no Obamacare subsidies after they funded the Trump government earlier in the year without a fight at all. But now he wants to put forward a bill on anti-Semitism. Really? So which constituents are you working for exactly? You can't condemn the genocide in Gaza on behalf of your many Muslim or progressive constituents or even Jewish constituents that have a problem with it. You can't deliver on Obamacare, but you're obsessed with it's anti-Semitism, white supremacy, that's a grift. That's just a race hustle. You're just a race hustler.
I mean, because, well, here's the thing with what Nick is saying here. The thing with Chuck Schumer is that his whole shtick within the Senate is he wants to, well, I'm just exist in the Senate so I can keep the left pro-Israel. That's it. That's like literally his entire purpose. And obviously it's failing miserably, and it wasn't going to be maintained for forever because of the simple fact of the genocide within Gaza being as easily filmed as it was, thanks to this fun little thing called the cell phone. Allowing, and, well, mass social media and everything like that, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, it's a little more complicated than that. But, yeah, the general purpose of Chuck Schumer is to just be pro-Israel and try to make sure that the left stays pro-Israel. Absolute failure. Like, Chuck Schumer is failing in that miserably. You can take a look at his fucking poll numbers as well. It's also being reflected there. And because it was like one of those things where the internal contradictions of the state of Israel was eventually going to rear its fucking ugly head and basically show how ridiculously violent and the inherent ideology of Zionism was always about one thing and one thing only, and that is about building an ethno-nationalist state that was, only for, Ashkenazi fucking Jewish people from Western parts of Europe after they got kicked out of European countries because of their own anti-Semitic policies. That's the basis, the ideological fucking basis of Zionism. It was always inherently built up on racism and xenophobia and ethno-supremacy inherently. That's why I consistently say you can't, like, the conflations of Judaism and Zionism are always incredibly fucking dangerous. Something that Fuentes does very, very often. To say that a ethno-supremacist ideology is the same as a religious and cultural affiliation is extremely fucking dangerous and is also just non-fucking sensical. Chuck is only averaging 27% favorability. Yep.
That's just a load of crap. You can take your resolution and shove it up your ass. No one cares. And the same is true on the Trump administration. What are they doing? The Trump administration has deported 300,000 illegal immigrants to date. There's nothing massive about that. 10 million came here in 4 years. They deported 300,000 in a year. The Trump administration extended the corporate tax cut. No tax cut for the middle class, no infrastructure bill, no job.
Was there even 10 million migrants that were that even came in during that amount of time? I mean, we know how many have been given TPS status, right? It's about 1.2 million. We know why there's been quite a few of them that came in from fucking Venezuela. Again, the coup attempt, a lot of, like, general, like, destabilizations in the area. But I think a lot of people also came in because of COVID. They wanted to leave their unstable countries to go to a more stable one. I mean, it's one of those situations where it's just like, it's very, very, very fucking easy to just basically, if you give some form of base material conditions to all people around the world, you know, the concept of a rising tide raises all ships. If instead of just constantly fucking with people and making the economy much, much worse in a lot of their countries, you know, a lot of other people, you know, Central and South American countries, African countries and stuff like that as byproducts of colonialism and exploitation of their resources and, well, shit like that, basically. You could make it such that a lot of these people would not have to go to the more stable first world Western countries so they can just try to make a living for themselves. It's pretty fucking simple. Is it true, Boy Meets Smitty, that about, there was 10 million migrants that came in over the past 4 years? I'm a little doubtful on that one. That I'm not 100% certain on because, again, for like the first half of the Biden administration, COVID was still going on and there was restrictions to travel. So wasn't it closer to 1.2 million? Well, that's the amount that were let in via TPS, right? That were allowed to come into the country. I don't think like 10 million. I'm just like, I don't think it was 10 million, considering the fact that for the first half of the Biden administration there was fucking COVID. So 10 million, that's a little strange. So yeah, personally, I don't like, because this is like the basis of the like stupid open borders fucking goddamn policy. It's just fucking nonsensical. It's just like, what, half of the fucking administration that Biden had, there was a global fucking pandemic. There was a disease ravaging the planet. So it's just like, well, that's a little strange. Like, there would have been a ton of travel restrictions. So, did 10 million migrants even come in? Personally, I don't really think so. I do think it is more than likely this number that have been administered in here by TPS, about 1.2 million. I don't think it was 10 million. And there is, again, I don't know how many times this has to be said, there is just no open borders policy. This is stupid. Most of the policies that Trump put in for immigration, Joe Biden kept in place. Like, that's just a fact.
Jobs, nothing. 50,000 jobs down in October. They won't even release the data. But they're...
Well, that's partially because of the government shutdown, but also because Trump might be cooking the books there because he's rather upset about the results that are going on with the jobs numbers.
Subsidizing AI and eradicating regulations for AI and cutting the corporate taxes, and they're giving contracts to little tech, all their Silicon Valley donors. Policing anti-Semitism. And again, from both sides, you're getting a lot of talk. You're getting Stephen Miller LARPing his Goebbels, talking about hippie boomers and, you are nothing, we don't like the third world. And on the left, you've got Chuck Schumer bitching about white supremacy and anti-Semitism. They get nothing done for anybody. Neither the left nor the right wins. The populists on both sides get nothing. The people are not being helped in any way. And yet, the one thing they are able to come together and work on is furnishing Israel with missiles, condemning anti-Semitism, funding Holocaust museums.
I wonder why you're mentioning fucking Holocaust museums there, Nick. Well, that's a little interesting. Why are you hyper fixating on the funding of Holocaust museums there specifically? Well, that's a little interesting. And yeah, I did mean all other immigration. So Pew says 11 million since 2020. Thank you, Boy Meets Many. So, that's a little interesting. Why would you have a problem with educational facilities to teach people about the fucking Holocaust, unless you think it's like a weird virtue signal from the left? It turns out like Holocaust education is getting significantly worse and worse and worse. Now, I attribute a lot of that to fucking Israel because of the conflation that they do between Zionism and Judaism consistently, but again, you gotta fucking sneak in the anti-Semitism, a fucking Jew hate, at all fucking times, wherever you can. That's again, little fucking interesting there that he has a specific problem with that.
Endless stuff like that. So this is where we need to realign the politics. I'm sorry, but I don't see myself as aligned, actually, with these guys on the right that are obsessed with Israel. And I think that a lot of the populists on the left don't see themselves as aligned with the pro-Israel people in the Democratic Party. But we're supposed...
Again, it should be fairly obvious what the issue here is. It's about corporate control. By the way, he has never mentioned about any of the corporate capture. He's talked about Silicon Valley and the oligarchs. It's, not the oligarchs, but mostly specifically big tech and Silicon Valley. There's a lot of other interests that are currently at play. Again, pharmaceutical industry, of course, the military-industrial complex. He hasn't mentioned any of that. And we all know why there's a lot of interests with Israel is specifically because the military-industrial complex very often using Israel as a proxy in order to test a bunch of different military technology on Palestinians, to be more specific, and also to get a bunch of security data, tons of intelligence and data from Israel as well within that fucking region. That is a very, very close partnership right there between the United States and, of course, Israel. And it's a little bit more multifaceted than them feeling bad about fucking Jewish people suffering under the Holocaust. Like, that was part of the reason, but no. It's more so about a lot of military interests within the fucking region, and part of it is also because of resources as well. Like, again, Israel is essentially a fucking beachhead for further U.S. operations within the region. That's the point of it. Like, that's the entirety of it right there. It's basically an excuse for the United States to be able to project power within the region. Like, I mean, even Joe Biden himself said this in a speech, like, I think it was like during the 80s on the floor of the House. It's like, if an Israel didn't exist before, we would have spent about $30 billion to just make up a fucking Israel. We would have fucking done it. And for what exact purpose is that for? Again, about projection of power and the sort of maintenance of hegemony within that region. That's purely it.
Supposed to all fight each other on their behalf. Stephen Miller is supposed to send me out to fight for this Trump administration that does nothing. And Chuck Schumer and their crowd, Alex Soros, and they're supposed to send their people out to fight us while doing nothing.
I don't think that's exactly how that works, right? Like what he's talking about there is like people going around and fucking distracting people, but the left never, like, that doesn't really happen, right? Like, that happens with like a bunch of fucking liberals, yeah, but most people who are a part of the left, especially online, aren't really liberals. I would say more of them tend to be fucking leftists. There's some big liberal accounts that are like democratic shills, quote unquote, but even the quote-unquote democratic shills like Pod Save America or like Tim Miller of the Bulwark podcast, they shit on the Democrats all the fucking time. They hate what the Democrats are doing. So it's not as simple as like Chuck Schumer has like an army of like social media minions to push out as much sort of like a pro-democratic propaganda. Even like those guys who do push out as much pro-democrat propaganda, like maybe you're like Dean Withers of the world or Harry Sisson of the world, they do that a bit more, but even they criticize and shit on the fucking Democratic leadership. Like, nobody likes the Democratic leadership. Even the more liberal, like, demo shills people also don't really like the Democrats all that much. I don't think that's really the case. There are just a ton of Trump shills within the Republican Party because they're all a bunch of submissive losers who just want to just stay close to power. That's all that it is. It's fucking nonsensical. But again, like, Nick Fuentes is just doing this as another way to present his grand bargain, I would say, to appeal to people who are more left-leaning, like Strasserite types, to build a bigger coalition to fundamentally challenge the Republican Party, to subvert it because of how weak the MAGA coalition is. Do not fucking fall for this. It is a canard. All the shit that he espouses, that he supposedly fucking believes, it's nonsense. It's nonsensical. He doesn't actually believe in any of this bullshit. It's stupid. You don't fucking listen to any of this, and you inherently fucking reject it from the beginning, because a lot of the stuff that he's saying is based off of, well, the half-truths and lies. And because he just wants this for one simple reason, and one simple reason only. He just wants to claim as much power for himself in order to further consolidate power of the entirety of the sort of American burgeoning populist right-wing movement under himself, so then he can be the main figurehead in order to get power for himself. That's purely what it is for Nick Fuentes. And also, like, social media prominence and more money for himself. Duh. I mean, there's an element to grift of all of this as well. So, again, when a Nazi like Nick Fuentes does the whole fucking populist shtick, don't forget your fucking history. Every fucking fascist has pretended to be this sort of, I don't know, quote-unquote principled populist who wants to have a bunch of popular policy be implemented in order to help benefit the vast majority of people within the country. Don't fucking buy it. It's all a canard. He's just doing this to try to appeal to left-leaning people, to get more people on his side in order to gain more power and prominence for himself. Don't believe anything that this motherfucker has to say. Like, I mean, he literally said a bunch of shit that there was a bunch of open border policies being done by the Biden administration. It's fucking nonsensical. A bunch of the Trump anti-immigration policies were still kept in place even after fucking COVID was over. Title 42 and whatnot. So again, it's nonsense. It's complete bullshit. And anything that this motherfucker tries to present as a bargain to basically say, well, I'm willing to work with the left on these things, should be inherently rejected. Because again, he's still a fucking far-right neo-Nazi even after all this time. And he's just doing this to claim power for himself. Don't think there's really much else to say besides that.